but it was white, like cheese, like white. And after they surrendered, and we hauled all of the troops, or part of we'd help haul them out and haul them back and put them in barbed wire fences. That's the only place we had to house them. And then we went back to Weinheim, Germany, and we spent the night there. We picked up, before we done that, we liberated a bunch of Jewish people, and we rushed back and tried to get rations for all of those Jewish people, but we didn't get back in time, and we were setting up the time for the supper for them, so that they could go by and get a can of whatever. We had beans and hash and so on. And they could go by and get a can of it. Well, in the meantime, we had a little mascot dog that was running loose, and they killed that dog. And we had a big bonfire for them to warm by, and they killed that dog, and they didn't cook it, they just warmed it on that fire and ate it for their supper. They were so hungry. But and then we went back to Weinheim, and we spent the night there, and we picked up a lot of rations. It was sea rations. We picked them up, and they was in white boxes, and they was about 18 inches long and about 12 or 14 inches wide. And the moon was shining bright. Now we were going then from there down to through Austria into Czechoslovakia, on the border of Czechoslovakia. We were still in Austria, but the border was right there. And the Russians was just across the street from where we were, and they had their whole families with them. The Russians was, at that time, they was helping us fight, and they had their families, the whole families, but they didn't have any modern equipment. They had horses and wagons and that type of thing is what they had, and they pulled their guns behind their wagons and that type. And then we were there in Vienna. We was in Vienna, Austria. That's where we were stationed. And we went back to Le Havre, France, and picked up food for the generals and it was the generals of both of the American and the German army. And what they was, and that night, of course, I didn't attend the show. I was on the way back to Le Havre to pick up the rations, and they put on a show with the horses, and they had horses down in Czechoslovakia, and they knew if the Russians got them, they'd kill them all. And so the Germans was being buddy to our generals, and our generals was being buddies to them. So we got back with the food, and of course it was almost morning, but I got some fresh eggs. We had some fresh. We wasn't supposed to have them, but we took them and had some fresh eggs to eat, and that was the first fresh eggs we had had since we had left the ship. But we went. Our password was cowboy, and we went into Czechoslovakia and got the horses out, and that's the reason that the horses is so famous. Is we saved the horses. Leprechauns. Yeah. So if you see on television, when you see the horses, well, you know, I had a little hand in that. So. But yeah, in our going from Weinheim down to Austria, I got a little ahead of myself. Well, we were on a convoy, and there was a plane that we called. Well, everybody had it named as any plane that was flying at night. Well, it was. You want to answer?